Woo! Green Bay Packers beat the Detroit Lions. What a great game. They were dominant throughout the game. Although they struggled at times to score, they just kept their foot on the pedal and beat down the Lions. Yes, the Lions are still a better team, but today the Packers had the better say. Big Brother comes back, ending that losing streak. It was a great game. Let's get into it right away. The Packers were good all day long. And the Lions just flat out weren't. They could not rush the passer at all. And when the Lions cannot rush the passer and you can throw the ball down the field, the Lions are going to have a bad day. And Packers fully took advantage of it throughout. I mean, opening up the game with the balls to receive the ball right away and take the ball down the field. 50-yard pass play on the first play to Christian Watson, and then to any Packer fan such as myself, you saw that like, wow, it's a possibility the Packers can win this game, and sure enough, they did. They were put on the points early. They were up 20-6 at one point, and it's just like, what are the Lions doing? What are they doing? And it also helps when your team loses the ball 3 times through fumbles. Jared Goff did not have a great day due to his turnovers, to passing. Sure, they got that last second touchdown at the end, but there were many times where the Lions could have come back. I mean, just look at in the third quarter. They had scored a touchdown. They were driving. Well, they weren't necessarily driving this series, perhaps, but they go for it at their 20 on 4th and like 7, and on the fake punt, and it just completely fails. And that set the tone for the rest of the game because then the Packers scored their second touchdown. Sure, they missed the extra point, or they failed on the 2-point conversion, which could have worked, but Jaden Reed, I think it was Jaden Reed who didn't throw it back to Jordan Love. But it was 29-14, and that's where it stood for a while. The Packers just kept piling on the pressure. Rashawn Gary had 3 sacks today. They were in Jared Goff's face all day long. And let's talk about the offense a little bit. Christian Watson, great. Jaden Reed, great. A.J. Dillon was really consistent today. And even Tucker Kraft got his first NFL touchdown today. And Jordan Love, of course, more than anything, was just efficient all day long. Had a couple wonky passes here and there, but he was throwing the ball down the field. And the most important thing, players were catching it. They were catching it. Imagine what happens with your team when your team is able to catch the ball consistently and often. This is what happens. The Packers look like a much better team when you're not dropping balls left and right, and it showed in a big way. Like I said earlier, the Lions were not able to get any pass rush going at all. I don't think Jordan Love even got sacked once today. And then throw on a couple of bad penalties by the Lions that just put them out of place. Holding that set them back. That intentional grounding penalty. That was totally an intentional grounding penalty. Although the fans in the stands were booing like crazy, it was an obvious intentional grounding call. And it's so like the Lions fans. You finally have success. You're 8-2. Yes, last week you nearly lose to the Bears, but you come back because they're the Bears and the Bears are terrible. But they're losing to the Packers, your big brother, and the fans are booing left and right before even halftime. It's like, this is why you're a poverty franchise, because your fans, yes, are loyal, but they see a little bit of success and then they see things not going their way and they're boo, boo, boo. It's like, grow up. You're not going to win every game. Sometimes you're going to lose hard fought games like this. And sure enough, the Lions ended up losing today. Grow a pair, Lions fans. Get used to it. Because this is just what's going to happen. If you're going to be successful in the future, you're just going to have to own up to the fact you're not going to win every game. And sure enough, you're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Yes, the Lions are not winning the Super Bowl this year. They have a great team, but I don't see any reason why you should Now maybe they could work themselves way back into Super Bowl contention, but I think this is the game that knocks them back a little bit, and maybe you start to question them just a little bit, simply because maybe the blueprint is out on Jared Goff. If you get in his face and you force him to fumble or throw an interception, and you're able to stop their pass rush, you have a roadway to success. And the Packers exposed it today. The Bears even exposed it last week. Goff has like 6 turnovers in the last 2 games after having like three or four and five. So 3 or 4 and 8, and the Lions were beat today. They were just flat out beat. They had several chances today to come back, reestablish control, and make their way back, but they just weren't able to because the Packers were just consistent. They didn't make mistakes, and that goes a long way in the NFL. If you want to make it in the NFL, you have to avoid the interceptions, fumbles, the bad holding calls, which there's only one on the Packers today, which was good. No really bad penalties other than that for the Packers. They were just consistent, kept their hands clean, and they were just able to win the game. And it was a great game to watch. I can't wait for them to play the Chiefs next week. Sure, that they might not win that game, but after the Chiefs, you look at the Packers' schedule and you think, wow, it's a real possibility. This team could be a wild card team. I mean, you got the Carolina Panthers, you got the Giants, you got Tampa Bay, you have Minnesota again, which doesn't look very good after Sunday's loss. I mean, Josh Dobbs was kept under control, and then they play the Bears again. I see that seriously 4 or 5 wins in that schedule beyond the Chiefs. Now, even still, who knows? They could beat the Chiefs next week. Not saying that's very likely, but the Chiefs have not been very good of late, and Mahomes is throwing bad interceptions at a time. So maybe, just maybe, in Green Bay with Taylor Swift watching the game, the Packers can pull off another upset. Wouldn't that be great? They win 3 games in a row, and 2 of them are against the Lions and the Chiefs, 2 so-called Super Bowl contenders in the NFL. I mean, this may be just me venting as a Packer fan, but I am so excited for this team going forward. And look at the Packers' injury list compared to the Lions. The Lions had like 4 injured players going into the game today, and the Packers had like 17 or 18 players inactive. And it's just like they pulled it off. They pulled off the upset on Thanksgiving, showing that the Packers are still relevant. Big Brother is still there in Little Brother Detroit Lions shadow, and still going to consider the Lions little brother until they win that division, until they make the playoffs, and until they show they can make their way through the NFL playoff schedule, maybe even a Super Bowl. They are still little brother to me because Packers still can beat the Lions, and more importantly, it's on Thanksgiving. Which in these types of games, since it's always in Detroit and is always an unfair advantage, Packers show they can still beat the Lions, show they can still beat teams. Just imagine what they can do going forward with a fully healthy roster and Jordan Love playing like the way he has, because man, the Packers showed a lot today, and there's no reason for any Packer fan out there to hang their head low. Hang your head high. You're a Packer fan. You just beat one of the best offenses in the league, best defenses in the league, and we're going forward with a relatively easy schedule that maybe, just maybe, the Packers can make their way to the playoffs again. But let me know what you think of the game today. I want to hear from all Packer fans and Lions fans too. I mean, this is all friendly competition, but I just think your fans booing when you have after you have a little bit of success and things don't go your way. I mean, I know a lot of those fans are fair, or there's a lot of fair weather fans in there, but let's see how you handle success going forward. I think you're still a good team, Lions. You still have a great shot at winning the division, probably the favorite for sure. And you maybe can make some noise in the playoffs. But after today, you'll have to rethink your strategy, because we know Dan Campbell's not going to change. He's still going to go for it in those situations. And the biggest number today, why the Packers won, Detroit Lions 0 for 5 on fourth down. 0 for 5. That is why the Lions were not victorious today, and the Packers were. Let me know what you think of the game. Have a great day. Go eat the crap out of that turkey and enjoy your family time. Have a great day. God bless, and go Pack Go.